right, everyone. Welcome back to the Command Your Brand Show. I'm your host, Josh Silvestro, brand ambassador of Command Your Brand, where we help CEOs and founders get on top-rated podcasts. Check out our book, rated the top best podcast book ever written at bestpodcastbook.com, and check us out at commandyourbrand.com. All right, everyone. Well, I had to just kind of go over a little bit here. So just a little introduction. So I was away for 2 weeks on a honeymoon. So I just got back and I'm tan, I'm sweating. It's hot everywhere. There's a heat wave. So I do understand that there's a lot of heat going on. But I do really appreciate, I'm kind of more appreciating life and just how things kind of are. But I want to get back into the show here. So I want to introduce you to a really amazing guest here who actually, one of the people I really appreciate the most is I love mothers and I love how they're just very active and they have a whole work-life balance of I have 2, 3, 4, 5 kids and I have a business that I run and they just kind of conquer life with that. So, and this lady I have here who is just an all-around amazing person. She's a coach and she's helped a lot of coaches. She's built, she was a broke mother from broke to a millionaire in, several months, but it's amazing just what she's created just from that. So I'd like to introduce you guys to Jeanne Omlor. So Jeanne, thanks for joining the show.
Hey, great to be here, Josh. Thank you for that tribute to moms. That was a lovely tribute to all mothers. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and also why you started your business.
Sure. So I'm from all over the place. I grew up in Australia, born in California, lived in Europe, New York, was an actress, filmmaker, worked on Wall Street as a executive, recruiter.
Yeah.
I lost the word there.
Yeah.
And then, got married very late. That wasn't great. Didn't work out. So I thought I have to do something to support me and my very young children. Was living in New York at the time. Went through a list of what could I do from home? Because I eventually was homeschooling my kids even. And I just thought, okay, coaching. I've always coached people. I love it. Let's just do that. And I got certified at night and then immediately got a business coach right after because I knew that I just needed to not waste a minute. And that's how I got started. And it was all, in person networking. It was hard. It was unsustainable, but that's how I got started.
Wow, it's amazing. And so how did you balance that aspect? Because I know a lot of people, what they struggle with the most, especially business owners, is they're trying to have this work-life balance with kids and their personal life and then their work and their job and their business. And how did you balance all that?
Well, I didn't. I mean, that's a luxury. Imagine single mom, New York, no money, right? With young children. It was survival. So the idea of balance was not a question for me. It was, how do I just make this happen? There was no balance. I was working nonstop, taking care of my kids. In fact, it felt like one long day with hardly any sleep in between. And that's just, you're just going. So was there balance? Absolutely zero balance with my life where I was. I just knew it was go time. So I did. And it was okay. I just, actually sometimes I wonder how I did it, but so balance came later with luxury. That's a luxury. Life balance is a luxury. People should understand that.
Yeah. And as a coach, as you've helped a lot of coaches, you've helped a lot of people be who they are today. What were some successful things that you've done that actually has helped coaches really build up their business or build them themselves as a coach, or confidence? What helped contribute to that?
Well, I mean, what happened? I mean, I was getting clients, but it was the hard way, the old way. When I got online 6 years ago, when I said to myself, I've got to make this work. I was in deep debt at that point because of other stuff that happened. I thought, I have to make this work. I'm 54 years old. I feel like a failure. I'm keeping a happy face for my kids, but there was just such underlying anxiety and stress from not personally reaching potential. And then monetarily potential. So there's two things going on. Yeah, we need the money. And what about me? This is not who I am. I need to figure this out. And I thought the only way to figure it out is get myself online and figure something out. Thought I was going to do ads. I immediately realized ads were not the answer. They were not going to work. Waste of money. And I thought I'll be in deep, deep debt. So I figured out how to get clients with no ads, called organic marketing. Figured it out. 8 weeks later, got my first high ticket client, and the rest is history. And people were saying, how did you do that? No branding, no nothing. How did you do it? Started helping people put food on the table. Coaches who weren't making any money start a living. So I'm very driven, helping people not be in poverty, not have lack, because I had that for years. in several different periods of my life. And I thought, this is so great. My mission is to help people to thrive and prosper. That's the actual mission. So it's been great because the mission is so aligned with what's happening. We've helped many coaches who were going to give up or who just started or who said, Jeanne, I have to pretend on social media that I'm successful, but I'm making $1,000 a month. That's not success. And it's creating a lot of mental health issues with coaches and other online people that are supposed to be the Instagram person that, all the photos, oh, my wonderful life. Then when you speak to them, I'm in debt and I'm making $1,000 or $2,000 a month if I'm lucky. This needs to change. So and I figured this out right before COVID, 5 months before. So I was positioned to really help people that just needed to be online and make money from online with Zoom, basically a computer and Zoom. So it's been fantastic from a personal point of view, but also from helping people to simply make money online by being, I hate the word authentic, but by simple human selling with no BS or pretense or all that stuff that people teach people to do, which is basically setting people up for emotional failure.
Mm. Interesting. And so you mentioned earlier about organic marketing for you. Like that was like your key success in like really building your business. Can you tell us a little bit about that and like actually how that process works?
Yes, it's actually very simple. It's about good content, not content that spins the vanilla wheels, I call it. People are spitting out content just to get content. Hundreds of pieces of content. Nobody cares. We are overwhelmed with content and information. We're overwhelmed. When somebody goes, "Oh, let me send you my free ebook," I'm thinking, please, do you have to? Do I have to read your ebook? Sometimes people send me their books. I don't have time to read your book. No offense. It's all this content, especially now with the book writing. There's so many books. So it's like, who cares? We all can create content, right? It's all sorts of, what about valuable content? So it's about valuable content that's actually helping people. You're telling a story, you're helping them. There's information that's earth shattering. I call that, double fudge chunk content, not vanilla wheels. Okay. So content that works. And also conversation, human interaction, like it's a network, like offline, you got to meet people, right? Online, you got to do the same thing. Okay. And it's about how to approach people in a human way where they're like, wow, this is really not spammy and not weird. Yeah, I do want to hear more. Getting them on a phone call and selling with ethics and integrity. And not spamming or being weird. There's this whole thing, a movement. When you remove the movement of spammy weirdness and side selling and underselling and sneaky selling, if you get rid of all that, it's pure. It's just a pure business and you feel great about yourself. The people that you sign on don't feel like they've been tricked into buying from you because that's a bad feeling. And if you're good at what you do, they're happy. Everybody wins.
Yeah, I love that because I think there's sometimes a thing where, I don't know how much social media you're on, but like, I've seen a lot of people get tricked and scammed between some coaches. Like, I don't know if you know some of these guys, but like, there's coaches out there that are just like, they're promoting their coaches and then like they're kind of ghosted after they're paid and I just don't talk to them. It's kind of like they're fake. And it's like, oh, I just got scammed out of like $2,000 of like, actually you're selling this coach or like for workouts or for whatever. And they're just kind of gone and that money is gone. So I really appreciate that fact.
Right. I think, I'm still here. I've been online 6 years. I'm still here. A lot of those people that I knew, I don't know where they are anymore. Like they're just gone. I think what they do is I don't think all of them are not well-meaning. I think they get so caught up in just making money. It's all about how much money can I make. They don't care about the client at all. And they don't even know they don't care. They're just so caught up in their coaches saying, oh, maximize, maximize. Sure, you do want to maximize profits and revenues. Absolutely. That's a business. There's nothing wrong with that. But just make sure you deliver. You make sure you have the follow through of a promise. This is what you get. Then you must give that. That's the thing. It's not about people. There's a pendulum. They either go, oh, I'm this compassionate business person. I'm going to let people walk all over me and, and not charge much. But really the problem is they have no confidence, but they're pretending I don't want to make it available. No, you want to make it something that you're not afraid of selling because you can't say the words of, it's $5,000. They can't. So they're in their mind, again, it's emotional. It's emotionally setting yourself up for emotional failure because you're fooling yourself. We all want to make money. So stop pretending you don't want to charge a lot because you think you're being charitable. It's because you can't charge a lot because you don't know how to sell. Right? So there's that. Oh, I just want to make it accessible. Really? Why don't you do a subscription that's accessible, and then do something else where you're actually taking care of your business and yourself and your kids and everybody in your life? Because let's face it, nobody is happy making $100 a session and having to get, that's exhausting, right? So there's that. Or there's the other side of just make the money and just, get as much money and, oh, you're here. So what? Let's get the next person in. There's the pendulum swing right there. There is a happy medium that hardly anybody achieves. That is, you're a business. You need to maximize your sales and profits in the right way with the right clients and let everybody else go by if they're not a good fit. And you need service. Yeah.
And so what do you find is the happy balance between, as a coach, like what do you think is, because obviously you've helped a lot of coaches and dealt with a lot of these problems. Like, what do you find is the happy medium for everything as a coach?
The happy medium is maximizing your profits and sales and being what you want to be. If you want to be $1 million coach, do so. But the goal should not be, I'm going to be $1 million coach no matter what. The goal should be, I'm going to be so good at what I do that I'm going to get all these wonderful clients that are happy. They're getting results. And as a result of that, I will become a millionaire. That's the happy medium.
Interesting. And so it's kind of funny and fascinating to me because some people, as coaches, they just kind of struggle with, they want to not charge so much, but then they kind of want to help. They want to help as much people as they can, but they're just like, I don't want to charge so much. And I think that's where they kind of lose a lot of stuff with them. You've obviously helped a lot of people in these areas. What do you find are like the mistakes that people make when they have a coaching business? What do you find are the key mistakes that people make that you've helped them with?
Okay, the key mistake is this. They hire people who help them with stuff that is easy for them to do because it makes them feel good. So they'll hire a branding company. And I know you do something different, but like they'll hire a branding company because it's easy for them to put makeup on, get clothes, and get branding shots. It costs $10,000. I can do that because it doesn't push anything that I'm uncomfortable with, right? Get the branding. My website's going to look great. But they have done no marketing. Because why? Marketing is hard because it makes you actually self-develop. Marketing and sales develop you as a person if you do it right, because it gets you past fears. It makes you realize it's okay to be rejected because it's not all about you. Makes you get a tougher skin. You're more resilient, all sorts of stuff. It develops you, and it actually makes you a better human being because then with your family, you're less sensitive. You're more it's like, oh, that's okay. You let things go more because you're not so emotionally reactive because, oh, you insulted me or I got rejected. It does develop you. All right. They don't want that. They want something easy. Oh, I'm going to do your marketing and you're going to get all these clients. Your website's going to be so great. That is not true. Having a pretty website, we all know it, but we're in denial. So they hire people and then they say, oh, I hired this person. I didn't get results. Well, you didn't get what kinds of results? Did you expect that you were going to get pretty photos and everybody's going to say, I want to work with you because you have a nice designer dress on and makeup? No. That's the biggest problem is they do not say to themselves, okay, I have a business. I need to bring money in the door. What do I do to just actions? What do I do to bring money in the door? Even if I don't have a pretty website, even I don't have that. They're not focusing on business building activities, not just coaches. It's all businesses because, I've coached all sorts of businesses. All right. So that's it. Then they spend money on all these silly things. It's sort of in the old days. We used to make in the .com era. We used to make fun of the people that had the Herman Miller chairs. They had no business. Okay. But they had expensive offices. Herman Miller chairs. It was the Herman Miller chair joke. You have no business, expensive offices, but you want to look like you're important. You spent all this money. You should have just sat at home in a corner, in a chair, making money on a shoestring, gorilling it, that's what bootstrapping it. You should have bootstrapped it, but no, they didn't want to bootstrap. Then they get in debt. They're paying this rent. It's nice for all our clients they don't have. And they had the Herman Miller chairs. It's such a funny joke. And when all the .coms went down and all those places went down, there were all these Herman Miller chairs secondhand online for sale. It was a joke. Okay. So never ever overspend on unnecessary peripheral stuff. Like, I have to get myself an outside office. Why? Unless there's kids in the background screaming. And I did have kids in the background screaming sometimes. We were all okay with that during COVID, right? The point is, why are you spending money? Because it's like those people that are going to play a hobby and they go buy all these expensive golf clubs, but then they actually don't play the golf. That's what it's like. Do you know those people? Oh, I got a hobby. They spend all the money. It's fun. It's fun to go get all the paraphernalia, but then they don't do anything with it. That's what they're doing. They're also not getting help from a coach. You need a coach. You always need coaches and mentors because those people have made mistakes. They are where they are, and there's a reason. So my strategy is always to find people that are where I want to be, and I say, hey, can I pay you? And sometimes they say, I'm not a coach, and I say, I don't care. I want you to coach me anyway. I'm going to pay you because I want what you want. Do you think you could just tell me what you did? And they're like, oh, okay. So it doesn't even matter whether they're certified. If they have done something, they surely know how they did it. They can certainly impart that. So there's all these mistakes. And then there's the self-doubt because they don't have clients. You don't have clients because you're not marketing yourself properly. Now let's talk about what you said. They want to make it affordable. I don't believe that ever. I've never believed that. That is an excuse because they cannot sell. Nobody says to himself, gee, I want to start a business and I want to keep myself poor by not charging enough.
Yeah.
Why is it? Then it's a charity. You should keep your job and do free coaching on the side if you're so inclined to be so charitable, because that is a charity. It's denial. Get out of denial. State what you want. I want to make $500,000 a year or 100 or whatever, $1 million. I don't know what it is. State what you really want and get clear, and then say to yourself, I'm going to courageously go after what I deeply, truly want and do it. But don't start gypping yourself by already undermining because, I probably can't do it and I don't want to hire a coach. So why don't I pretend to myself and all the people around me that I'm okay making $20,000 a year? I don't believe that. Do you?
Definitely not.
No.
Yeah. It's amazing too, because a lot of people, as they're going through life, it's sort of like, how can I be better? And they think, in their people's minds, they're just like, oh, I got to do better. I got to do better by myself. And I feel like it's never good to always work by yourself. It's sort of like when you work with other people and they help you achieve those goals. I think it's a better goal or just a better dream to have somebody to actually help you do those things.
Well, it's absolute ego. How can we think this whole thing of it's all within you is the biggest load of rubbish I've ever heard in my entire life? And I've heard that a million. It's all within you. Really? It's within me to be a plastic surgeon? No, I would have to actually learn that, right? Why don't we just say to all the doctors out there, you don't need to go to med school. It's all within you. Do you see how ridiculous that is?
Yeah.
Why don't people get that? Well, then how come it's all within us to do a business? Because a business, we just should know how to do that. That is the most ridiculous thing. So when I put it that way, do you see how ridiculous that is? Like, well, then why do we go to university to be a doctor? I would not have somebody operate on me who said, oh, it's all within me. I'm just going to figure out how to do the surgery as I go. Well, you can figure certain things out. You can figure certain things out yourself, of course, but there's ego involved. Why would I say, oh, I just have all the knowledge in the world? Why read? Why do we read if we already have it within us? Because we want to learn stuff, right? There's all these mechanisms. Not all coaches, a lot of them do invest in themselves, and a lot of businesses invest in themselves. But the people that say, I just feel I should figure it out on my own. That's just ego talking. Why should you? Why should you figure something out that you did not know? That just doesn't make sense to me, right? So it's getting past all that ego, which it is, of I should do this by myself. Not really. It's maybe you don't want to invest and you're hiding behind that. So clarity and knowing ourselves for anything we do, business or anything else, or in a relationship, it's across the board. Clarity and knowing ourselves and whether we are in denial. What do we really think with oneself? Clarity to get all that on okay, this is what's really going on. Okay, now what do I do? But I think a lot of people are fooling themselves that that's the reason, and they're never going to get anywhere unless they get clear with themselves on what is going on, what am I scared of, what's the real reason, and get over it. I've had so much fear in my life, and I've just thought, I'm not going to get over it. I'm just going to take a step forward and drag it behind me. You just got to stop all the spinning already, and also stop taking yourself so seriously. We take ourselves so seriously. What if we fail in front of the whole world? So what? Everybody that's successful has failed. All the really successful people have had many failures. So those are the mistakes. It should really just be, starting a coaching business is one of the easiest businesses to start. It is so easy. There's no overhead. You can just sit at home. You can have your computer, a phone, Zoom. You're good. You just need to know how to market the knowledge that you have. It's that simple. We have helped people that were not coaches, didn't know what they wanted to coach on, find the offer and get coaching immediately and get high ticket clients because they merely believed, okay, I'm going to believe this. I'm going to do it. It worked for a lot of other people. And they were open enough to get rid of the mind trash enough to just do the actions. And a lot of it is getting rid of all the mind trash enough just to merely operate. It's so easy to become a coach. If you're good at what you do and you truly feel like, wow, I could help people, you're good.
Yeah.
If you have nothing to coach on and no insight, then you can't be a coach.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah. And so I guess for people, because I know we're coming close to the end here, I guess before, for a lot of people who are listening, they're also coaches or they want to become coaches, but they're either too scared or they failed so many times. Like, what advice would you give to these people? Like, how can I be a better coach? How can I succeed as a coach? Because I'm just too scared or I'm too, I have a lot of tension on being successful in my life. What would you say?
There's two things. There's your ability. I call it the technician in your business. So there's a technician in every business. So for coaches and consultants specifically more. So are you good at coaching? And I hear a lot of people go, Jeanne, I am so good at coaching on life or relationship or blah. They already know they're competent at the job, the technician. Okay. But they aren't good at the business owner part. So you got to understand there's two. Are you good at coaching? Yes, I am. Great. If you're not good at coaching, then don't be a coach. If you're not good at helping people, then that's not the right thing. Most people that are coaches are very passionate about helping people. And they're like, I am so good at this and I just don't make any money. Well, that's great. We already know that part's taken care of. Now we got to fix the business part. Okay. Separate the two, in and on business. Okay. Working in the technician and on the business is I got to work on the business. I got to get clients. It's two different things. So one should not feel insecure about their coaching abilities because they don't get clients. Two different things. That's business acumen and knowledge and marketing and sales and how to get clients separate from. But they're mixing it all together and they're like, I have no confidence now in my coaching. I said, there's nothing to do with your coaching. You don't know how to be a business person. And when we separate those two and are very sanguine about it, okay, I'm great at what I do, don't know how to sell it. I need to learn how to sell it. That's all. But they're making it affect their self-worth, their abilities of coaching, and that's ridiculous. They don't see that. You just don't know how to sell. So learn. You don't know how to sell? You do want to sell? Yes. Get a coach. Get somebody that teaches you how to get clients. Oh, I don't want to do ads. Don't do ads. Ads won't work, actually. They don't work. Spend $100K in ads after the facts to test them, and they don't work for coaches anymore, and we all know it.
Right.
We all know it.
Right.
They all say, my ads are working. When I really question them, no, they're not working. They're just not losing money. That's not working. Right. So if they aren't losing money, well, you're lucky. So the point is, it's not hard. It is merely self-mastery to say, like a bot, I have something to offer. I don't know how to sell it. Find somebody that's going to help me to sell it. Sell it. I have a business. It's that simple.
Amazing. And so I guess before we end up, because I know we're coming to the close here, I'd love for people to reach out to you. I love and also appreciate the time you've given us to kind of ask a lot of these questions about being a coach, how to help coaches, and you've obviously built, helped a lot of people with it. So if people want to reach out to you and get to know you better, where can people find and reach out to you?
They can reach out to me on JeanneOmlor.com, JeanneOmlor.com. And there's a reviews page with hundreds of client results, or LinkedIn.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate the time you've given us and educating us on a lot about how coaching works and how to organically market. I really appreciate that because I'm sure a lot of people love to hear what you have to say, especially someone who's very successful like yourself. So I really appreciate the time you've given us, and I love listening to you.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure to be here, Josh.
Yeah. And of course, I thank everyone here for listening to this stuff. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe and hit the like button and smash the subscribe button. I think you guys will love this, and definitely check out her as well. And you definitely would love this stuff. All right. And I think we'll end off here. So it was a pleasure talking to you.
Take care.